Radio Waumini 88. The day to all listeners, asante sana, blessed day to you as well. Asante sana Mama Margaret, thank you for tuning in. Asante sana Maureen all the way from St. Joseph Mlolongo for tuning in. Welcome to the final hour, my dear listeners. I told you earlier on, being a Tuesday, you know it is Money Matters Tuesday, my dear listener, all right? And last week, if you are tuned in on Money Matters Tuesday, we talked about aligning our financial goals in 2026. But aligning alone is not enough. So today, we move a step deeper and ask the harder question. How do you confirm that your financial goals are realistic, intentional, and truly working for you in a year where cost of living is rising, incomes are stretched, and financial pressure is real? Goal setting without confirmation can leave many frustrated by the end of the year. So joining us this morning is Mr. Wahome Ngari, a financial literacy coach, to help us move from wishful planning to clear financial direction and ensure that our 2026 money goals are not just written down but well thought through. So welcome into this beautiful conversation, my dear listener. 0712 223385 is the SMS line, or on Facebook page Radio Mini 88.3 FM. Mr. Wahome, a very good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Bramwel.
Yes, how have you been?
Been well.
Yes.
A great morning to be together. Thank you for having me here. We enjoy. The sun continues to get slightly hotter. They've even told us a drought is coming. And so, just like you said, we have to be more intentional, more purposeful. We have to remember we have general elections next year. They have a big tendency to slow down the economy. And essentially, 2026 is the year to actually make sure we preserve.
Exactly.
So we must learn from the ant. You know, in winter, we cannot be able to do a lot. In summer, we preserve all what we have. And I think that's why we're saying, let's confirm the goals that we have for this year. We've seen the challenges in grade 10 entry. Very, very serious challenges. The nation is raising serious questions. Are we preparing for our children? Do we really want to fail them by not ensuring that there's a smooth transition to the next level? Because there are just too many statements coming through, and some are not practical, and you're saying, how come? These kids have been growing for a long time. Again, that's what planning is all about. We become more proactive. I know there are those who got post-KCSE issues to talk about, and thank you for the discussion you had here earlier in the morning. I think we are looking for pathways for them. And new year comes with new opportunities. We have the Kenya Pipeline IPO. I invited people on Tuesday in the evening. We talked about this, and now they are a bit more clear on what it is and how to engage. And so a new year presents new opportunities. I think it gives us a chance to think through a couple of things. And that's why in our previous discussion, we said, let's calibrate this year. What do I want to achieve? By the time this year is gone, what do I want to achieve? Bearing in mind the reality, the environment where we are, how will I get it done? And what do I need to do? Where is all these resources going to come from? So today we're looking at it from a money perspective. But as we look at it from a money perspective, I think it is important for us to say, when we were calibrating, we said, and I think you repeated those words, we need to be intentional, we need to be alert, we need to be alive, we need to be proactive, we need to be deliberate, because if we are not doing that, then we're going to find ourselves very, very reactive. And so as we set out where we want to go, our goals, our dreams, our aspirations, we become very, very intentional. And I've said many times, that's exactly what we do at the Personal Finance Academy. We just help people to be intentional about their financial life. Because if we are not intentional, there are just too many winds and rains and storms that will come and derail us. And that's why we have to be intentional. And that's the whole discourse about confirming the goals. Because remember what we said, every individual will wear very many hats. And you can't not be forgetting they're your hats. If you're a parent, you must remember you're a parent. So you must always remember your children. They can't surprise you that they've just done grade 9. No, they can't surprise you that they've just done KCSE. No, you've seen them grow all along. And there are many things in there. If you're a spouse, you cannot get surprised when your spouse is looking for you to gift them on their anniversary. I mean, this is something that happens. So we have to wear those caps all the time. If you are children, you are somebody's son, somebody's daughter. even the Bible tells us, honor your father and your mother. And so you cannot be forgetting that. You're part of the society, you are in the neighborhood, you are somewhere maybe in a church group. So all these hearts need your attention. And we agreed they will all require a few things. They will require you to engage your emotions. You have to put in your thoughts. They will require your time. But essentially, they will all require money. And that's why he said, how do we balance out all these many things? And if you remember very well, we talked about the wheel of wellness, and we said it's a very holistic way of visualizing well-being so that we look at it from many dimensions. And we said there are about 8 dimensions which we have to look at. And it's sort of like a wheel with spokes. So if you don't balance them out, it's going to be weakened on one side. We talked about the physical aspect of it. We need to be well. We say your health is your wealth. And so we have to consider, as we are wearing all those hats, we have to maintain our wealth. We have to deal with our emotions. One of the biggest challenges we have now is mental wellness. And this is a question of maybe sometimes not managing our emotions. We're seeing bad things happen, sometimes very sad. We saw this attack in church on Sunday. In Witima, in Odaya. I mean, there are people who will be traumatized. Children, older people, will actually start fearing going to church because they never know what can happen, and they need to be helped through. That's where emotional wellness comes from. We have the social angle, being able to live, having healthy relationships. I find it strange. Younger people have found a new term that parents are toxic. That's a very strange term that can put us into a lot of problems. In a challenging environment like we are, we have to remain intellectually alert and active. So we have to work around our brains. If you don't use something, you lose it. What you don't use, you lose. And so we need to keep the brain alert and well. We talked about occupational, what we do every day, how we earn a living, and how we make ourselves better. And this year, more than any other year, remember we said we will make to eat, we will make to keep. Because we don't know how next year turns out. And so we have to think about that. As we do that, we have to think about the environment. Part of the reason why we have this phenomenon of drought affecting us is we've not cared for the environment very well. Exactly. We've cut trees, we burnt charcoal, we have worked on the earth and not replenished it, and that has always become problematic. But all said and done, we must also think about our spiritual wellness. We must attune ourselves and align ourselves to God. And I think He's given us clear instructions. There's a framework, there are guardrails of what we need to. We need to work around that. And so the last wheel is financial. That all these things will cost us money. When you actually work on all those things and then you balance it out, I think life gets much better. Yeah. Well
explained. That is a beautiful recap indeed of what now we talked about last week. Now, but before we go deeper, Mr. Wahome, kindly tell us, today, do you have a class?
Yes. Today we have a class, interesting class. If you, again, are an investor and you think about investing, if you're investing in land, in real estate, and I want to talk to younger people. I think days of buying Kapuloti are getting fewer and fewer. There are very many options now. We can look at fractional ownership. We can look at REITs and all the other things in between. That's the discourse that we have today. And the whole issue about land and real estate is fairly complicated. We've seen people getting cleaned out by crooks, so it's always good to understand how is the environment, what are the opportunities, what are the processes, what are the risks. And that's what we're looking at this evening. And yes, our listener, you're very welcome. All you need to do is show interest. The number is 0708-150-137. Just show interest, come over, and we'll be able to have that discussion. And I think I want to address this listener of ours who's always said, I want to come. And every day there's always an obstacle. Hey, this is a new year. You have an excuse to actually say, okay, those obstacles, I'll jump over them. So if you told yourself I'll come and you never found the opportunity to come, can you imagine for free? We are giving you 2 hours for free. So we say, karibu sana. You just need to text that number. You need to WhatsApp, and somebody will respond.
All right. There you go, 0708-150-137. Now, Mr. Wahome, when we talk about confirming our financial goals in 2026, what does it actually mean?
It means I want to have our wellness. So I have to think through all the dimensions of wellness to make sure nothing is neglected and nothing is left out. And I did not say I wish to, and I'm not going to take action. So we want to crystallize them now. We want to realize them. We want to be actual with them. So you said you want to remain physically well, for example. So you're looking at your body health, nutrition, exercise, sleeping, Medicare, and all those things. And we said, if that's what you're looking at, think about exercise. If you're going to exercise, what do you need? And what is it going to cost you? Is it joining the gym? Is it joining a sport? So what will it cost you? What's the money that is required? Because if you don't bring along the money, the other things will not happen. We said we need to have a good lifestyle, and you're going to have good sleep. Remember, we said the doctor recommended we sleep well. When you sleep, the body is going to repair itself. The brain is going to take a rest. And we jokingly said, are we sleeping enough? What's coming in our way? Did we say you might actually have to move house because your neighborhood is very noisy? You know, you might want to change your bed or your beddings. Again, it's going to cost you money. So how much money is it going to cost for us to be able to do that? We talked about lifestyle again. We said, especially in this heat, we need to hydrate ourselves. Am I going to buy a water dispenser so that I stay well? What am I going to do? Is it the additives that I do? Confirming is just going back and saying, I said I'm going to live well. But how am I faring in all these things? We talked about diet. We said it's a time to check out is it time actually to visit a nutritionist? Or is it time to work with supplements? And so how much money do we need for supplements? We're going to have healthy eating. We're going to have balanced meals. We're going to do all those things. How much money do I require? We said we have to do some risk management, maybe medical checkup. So if you're going to do your...
This is Radio Wahome 88.3 FM.
This is not you said you're going to buy medical. What is it going to cost you?
This is Radio Wahome.
Now you're checking how much is it going to cost me and what am I doing about that.
Well explained, Mr. Wahome. My dear listener, 0712223385. If you have a question, kindly go send us the question, and then we will have to Mr. Wahome will have to respond. Then, Mr. Wahome, how can an individual honestly assess whether their financial goals match their current income? Because that is also another question that people are grappling with right now. And you began by saying 2026 is a year to preserve, just like ants do.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's why we are working. I like working from the wheel of wellness.
Exactly.
Because this is where I can say to myself, we've just looked at physical wellness.
Yeah.
And my intention was to join the gym and join the sport and join the club. And when I actually do the numbers, I can see now I can do that.
Okay.
That will not work.
All right.
So within that realm, what can I change? Maybe I don't need to do the gym. I can actually exercise from the house. Okay, I can do aerobics from the house. I can actually buy a skipping rope, but exercise I will. All I can do is adjust according to the money that I have. It is so important for me, so I'm not going to neglect it. I am going to look for a cost-efficient way of achieving it. I might not be able to do all the medical tests, or I may not even be able to buy private medical insurance, but surely I'll make sure I'm enrolled in SHA.
All right.
At least for a start. So you look at the money we have, we look at the activities we want to do, we become realistic, we actually say to ourselves, what can I afford within my means? Because it's a question of living within our means. If we live beyond our means, we even bring ourselves more problems. We talked about the emotional wellness, you know, managing my emotions, managing my feelings, being resilient, you know, looking at self-compassion. And we said every morning we need to listen to ourselves and listen to ourselves very well. When I wake up in the morning, of the standard human emotions, which one am I experiencing? Because if I am feeling sad for whatever reason, it needs to be addressed. If it is not addressed, you know, sadness is not addressed. What does it do? It brings in more stress. Now we might suffer depression. We might become psychotic. Can you actually see it's a downhill? And if it is not addressed, it gets even worse. I mean, I woke up feeling angry. I'm frustrated. I must address that feeling.
Yeah.
If I don't address that feeling, the consequences become much, much, much worse. So we are looking, and this is where we said, just do a gratitude journal. You know, every morning you wake up, pick out of all those things. Did I feel happy? Was I excited? Was I sad? Remember what we call the sachet?
Yeah.
And we said you can actually pick them from there. And then we said the issues around self-compassion. And self-compassion is all about taking care of myself. And we're saying, within my means, what can I afford?
Yeah.
Because you said, how do I check my bank? That's why we're checking at the cost. If I wanted to go for a holiday as a way of relaxing, now there are obviously many destinations, but they cost differently. What
sure.
can I afford? And you know, sometimes my break might not be going to holiday. It might be a morning walk in Karura.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what the money I have now can actually afford. I can actually look for my friends and we go for a camping trip. So we do not have to go to expensive hotels because that's not what I have. If I have the money to be able to go to a massage, maybe that's what is going to work for me. We're looking for sometimes going to the theater, going to a musical show, but saying, let's take care of ourselves. And then that's why we say the other dimension of emotional wellness is the company we keep.
Yeah.
There's a lot of therapy from the people you keep. There are people who pull you down. There are people who pull you up. So who is this? And we talked about having a confidant. You know, remember we talked about having our Elizabeth? You know, somebody we can actually share. Problem shared is a problem halved. And this is where we might need to have a mentor. Some of these things don't cost you a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, having a mentor will not cost you. Having a confidant may not cost you a lot. We might need to seek therapists so that we are able to get out of the challenge that we have, because life can be challenging. And so this is what you're looking at. And maybe if you get your confidant, you go and walk on a track, or you go and do a mountain hike together. You know, it's going to help you physically because you're going to work around your health and you're going to work around your emotions. You're going to work about your social connection. It might be paying a visit to your parents. You feel lonely, you've not seen them for a while, or they are lonely on the other side and you've not seen them. So when you're looking at that wellness, there are a couple of things that needs to be done, or we can work within the means. But how do we tell we work within the means? We must reduce them to actual money.
Okay.
If I am saying I want to see a psychologist, how much do they charge? So that I can tell, do I need 4 sessions? Do I need 3 sessions? Are they charging differently? Must I go to the most expensive one in town? I mean, I see doctors consulting at 6,000 shillings, but there are still doctors who consult at 1,000 and they are good.
Yeah.
So again, depending on the means you have. If you don't narrow it into the Kenya shilling value, then it is difficult for you to be able to tell, is it within my means? Is it outside my means?
Okay,
Yeah.
well answered. And talking about that, there is something, I'm seeing a message here from one of our listeners called Gladys. Says that, Mr. Wahome, in our last week's conversation, you insisted on matters tracking our finances. In as far as we would love to do that, what are the key red flags that show someone's financial goals may be unrealistic, poorly timed, or driven by pressure rather than purpose?
Thank you. Thank you for remembering something I've insisted. I've insisted, let's be certain where the money is going.
Yeah.
Let's not find ourselves this year wondering, where did my money go?
Exactly.
So we want to be deliberate. When you are deliberate and you capture your expenses, you get an opportunity maybe at the end of the week. Or maybe, by the way, at the end of the day, you can look through and say, what did I do? And they can easily tell you you're going off the line.
Yeah.
Because you know the income that you have, you know the resources that you have at hand. And you have to now ask yourself, why am I going off the track? And we all have habits, and sometimes we have bad money habits.
Yeah.
You know, we may not mean bad, but we actually may not be working towards ourselves. Some of us are generous to the fault that you actually give to anybody who seeks help. There's nothing wrong with giving, but you can't give everything. You know, so some of us, when we see, again, it might be a personality issue, we cannot refuse the temptation to buy the things we see.
Yeah.
So you didn't have plans to go to buy shoes in town, but when you saw them, it looks like the shoemaking factories are closing tomorrow. So you bought all the pairs. So when you keep your track, it easily helps you to be able to see what you're doing. I mean, when you are driving on the road, generally all the time. You need to have the rear view mirror. You need to see what's happening behind you, even as you look ahead, so that sometimes you can actually see, I think I'm not doing the right thing, or I'm not going in the right direction. That's why we do that. And this is where we say, our intellectual wellness. Engaging our mind. And that exercise is engaging the mind. We talked about lifelong learning, being curious, being creative, looking for ways of problem solving. And I said, yes, let's give up some social media time. I know a lot of us are doing social media. Hey, you should see. Even when people are in church, they are it's almost like it reminds you need to do a bit of scrolling. You need to look at something, and that scrolling for some reason becomes something that you get addicted, and you want to see. And what's interesting, whatever platform you go in, whether it's IG, TikTok, or whatever, you can never bring it to an end. You will always see something else. And our algorithm has this tendency of aligning things. So if you're looking at this, they tend to align things that are similar. We say, let's swap that for 30 minutes. Let's ask ourselves, how much can I invest to buy a book? Might be a physical book or an audiobook in that area where I think I need to build my capacity. It might be a program that I want to get into. And when you do that, you can actually be able to see, I'm getting myself better. We said when we have our drive time, or when we are doing the chores we have at home, now we have a good friend of ours. Almost everywhere we have Wi-Fi, we got data. So audiobooks and podcasts are very necessary. And this is going to help us to learn new things, a new skill, a new hobby. And it is exciting when you're learning something new. I mean, if you've never known how to do coding or knitting, the day you learn, you feel excited. And there's always something good when you're feeling good about yourself. And that helps you to develop yourself. Now, we said we want to earn more. So at a professional level, we might want to see career-wise. Do I want to move from where I am to the next level? So from my academics, and I think that's a discussion you had here early in the morning, do I want to go to a different level? Is it time to take up that diploma I've always thought about, or my bachelor's, my master's, or my PhD? Or professionally, is it this time I take a professional designation now so that I become an authority in my area? So what is it that I need? Is it a course? Is it a workshop? Is it a program? Is it books? Is it tuition? Is it examination fee? How much? I find it strange, especially when I'm talking to younger people, because they want to do this, but the question you ask is how much? Because unless you know how much, you cannot be able to tell whether you can afford. So that now when you know how much, you can actually say, I don't have the money. What are the other options of having money? And people have been surprised that you can actually go to the Higher Education's Loans Board and you borrow and you do your master's. People think you must raise all the money. No, you don't have to raise all the money. And that's why we need to stimulate ourselves intellectually, and we need to stay alert and alive. And I said, even when you play games, it's always good to play cards. But can we try something that is going to engage us? Maybe a bit of Scrabble, a bit of chess in here, some Monopoly, something that's going to be engaging our mind. And they say, especially for seniors, look for crossword. That's going to keep your brain sharp and alert, and that will be good for you and everybody. So you can actually see what requires our money. What are we doing? We're checking how much does it require. So if you're looking at your social wellness and you want to build healthy, supportive relationships, you want to become part of the community, you need to look at how to become intentional in connecting with other people. And that is why you might want to join a group. If you're going to join a chama, you're going to make a contribution. So you must tell yourself, can I afford? There's a chama where they're putting in 30,000. If you can afford that, there might be another one which is putting in 5,000. An investment group, some volunteers. You want to be somewhere where you can actually grow with other people and you're actively involved in those activities. There's also the question of volunteering. I think it's important to live beyond ourselves. We must be able to volunteer. It might cost you. It doesn't have to cost you money. Sometimes it might only cost you time because somebody else is able to bring along the money so that you're able to do that. And that wellness is important because you cannot be an island. You can't be all alone. And that's why we also talked about vocational or occupational wellness, finding purpose in what we do and finding some work-life balance. If I'm paid or not paid, can I still continue doing this work that I'm doing? Does it help me? And that's what we're going to look at. If I like it, then I have to grow, and I have to find a way of growing. If I don't like it, I might have to look for what I like.
Okay.
In this country, unfortunately, opportunities are not always open. And sometimes it's not opportunities are not open. We did not know there were opportunities. When your speaker was speaking this morning about A-level, I thought A-level is done. You have to go to Uganda or Tanzania to take A-level. I mean, I come from that system where we did A-level, and I still think it was a premium quality education. But if you're not aware of those opportunities that are there, you might not be able to do the best you can. We are in a situation now, I've seen it doesn't matter what you do, whether it is in journalism, whatever it is, we must study AI. Or we are not using AI. You just go back to the days when computers came and people said computers were going to take jobs. Computers did not take jobs.
Exactly.
They took out the people who ignored computers. AI will not take jobs.
Yeah.
It is going to take out the people who ignore AI. So again, we want to better ourselves. We want to become better people in the community. And the question is, how much will it cost me to be able to do that? We talked about the environment.
Yeah.
And I think this is one better place where we can live beyond ourselves. But as we're living beyond ourselves, you said, hey, declutter. Why am I having all those things that are filling my wardrobes, my house, and everywhere? Let them go away. The spirit of giving, I think when you give, you feel good in your heart.
Sure.
Feel good in your heart. And we want to feel good. That's part of all this. You declutter so that you don't have all those spaces. But we also say, let's connect with nature. People who learn to connect with nature care for nature. You find the people who take their trip to Karura or Ngong Hills, when there is a campaign to preserve that space, they work much hard about it. And we're saying, yes, I know the rains are not there, but we might want to have green habits. And part of green habits is not throwing paper everywhere. Oh, I moan on my experiences on the road. You can actually see this when I think when they buy bananas here, you can almost time a few meters after that, and pills will just start flying out of the car.
Yeah.
If there's a fueling station and there's a fast food place, after a few minutes, that is just going to fly out of the car. Even as we go to Singapore, we must be able to take care. I think one of the things Japanese taught us is something called sanitize. Keep it clean everywhere. Not only in the environment, the consciousness, the speech, all the things that we need so that we keep the environment very clean. And that's why, for me, the spiritual part is very, very critical. This is where we have the moral code. This is what tells us, do this and don't do that. That silent voice that speaks to you when you're just about to do something. And so this might actually, like I said, need some money from you, because you might need to do some Bible study, and you might need to enroll in a program. You might need to do an arbitration program or something like that. You might need to do your pilgrim. I think I've heard you just mention something happening in Subukia.
Exactly.
It's going to cost money, but it's a good thing to be able to do those things, because when you do that, you remain good. So if you look at all those things now, you can see they're going to cost us money. And that's why we said, in terms of financial awareness last time, track your expenses. Be sure. And this is going to help you be able to know where the money is going. That's the first step. The second step, we want to automate our savings. I think Proverbs 6:6 talks to us this year. We must learn from the ant. We must learn to preserve. And it doesn't matter how much you have. I can always tell you that whatever you have, if you just take 10%, nothing will change. Your life will be as it is. The question is, how do I take 10%? And this is where you're looking at the options available, because they can help you to take to preserve that 10%, and you automate it. If you can be able to do a salary deduction and sorts, and you send it where it's going to go, do that. If you cannot do that, look for a way of doing that. And we said knowledge is power. Empower yourself so that then you're able to set your goals. And the process of setting the goals now is very easy. We said a goal is a destination. This is where I want to be. We've looked through as a family, and we found the need to set an emergency fund. So we might have to, when you list all those things, we always say then, the first thing is list all those things. Go through all your 8 wheels. List out everything that you need. Once you list out everything, now come and sublist them in time frames. What do I achieve within this year. What must be done in 2026? What might be started now, but might take slightly longer to finish, maybe the next 4 years. And let me give you examples of things we'll start in 2026 and will be done in 2026. If you see the need to buy items of furniture in the house, they are unlikely to be taking us 3 years. We will be done within a shorter time. And you can look at the space you have and you're saying, maybe these are the items of furniture that I require. Or items of electronics, could be a phone, could be the TV, could be a tablet, could be, again, 6 months will be able to do that. It could be the wardrobe, because this happens, people have maybe put on a bit of weight or lost some weight. Our children have grown, the way they grow quite quickly. Again, you cannot be saying, I'll buy them shoes after 3 years. It will not make sense. There might be quite a bit of down payment that we need to do, and we need to start doing that, and we need to do it in 2026. You might have seen the need to buy a property, buy a car, clear some debt. You've realized the way the finances are, if these debts are not dealt with, they will become a big problem for us. And there might be savings, because there are many things that we say we are going to do. We're going to have an emergency fund. We have a child who's going to go to college. We have holiday that we need to do. So all those things will be done in the short term. And as we're writing out these goals, we always say, involve everybody who is going to use your money. Don't ignore the children. Don't ignore your spouse, because it will be necessary for them. There are things we might need to do in the medium term, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. As a family, we decided we need to buy a car, okay? But we cannot buy that within 1 year. Whether we go to the cooperative or we go to the bank, it's going to take us 3-4 years to pay that loan. Or whether we're going to buy a piece of land, we want to raise some money for a mortgage. Or we're seeing the need for going back to school. It's going to take you 2-3 years to do the program and pay the loan. If you told ourselves we want to do our pilgrim, again, it may not happen within 1 year. We might need to save for 2 years or whatever it is. But there are those that take long. They might take 5 years. They might take more than 5 years. If you start early to save for your child's college fee, that's going to take a while, because the child will only go to college when they turn 18. They go to high school when they turn 15 or thereabout. If you want to take up a home loan, you want to have a mortgage, again, it takes quite a bit of time to be able to deal with that. If you're looking to funding retirement, retirement doesn't come early. It's 60 plus? That's when it comes. So we have a lot of time. If you want to build a serious investment portfolio, that's going to take a lot of time. So when we are setting goals, and now we are confirming if they're right, number one, we say they must be smart. And smart, the first letter S says they are specific. That means you quantify them in shilling value and they have a time. Two things, shilling value and a time. We need to set up a contingency fund of 300,000 by the October of 2026. And this is the one that tells you, I can work within this time, or I need to be able to put in more time. They have to be mutually agreed, especially where they are spouses. We need to work together. We do not have to work at cross purpose. We want to experience synergy. And A is that they have to be attainable within the resources we have. We want to set goals that we can deal with the money we have. Because anything beyond that is either frustrating or time wasting, because it cannot be done. And that's why we record them. We record the goal, we commit them to paper, we write them down, we publicize within the people who are affected, so that they are well aware. And I like publicizing with children. Children are very good, because innocently they will remind you what you said, and that will cost you effort. And T is for trade-off. There are so many things that needs to be done, and sometimes the resources are not enough. So what do? Yes, we have all these things to do, but we must prioritize. In our prioritization, we downscale. We had said we want to go for holiday, and we have seen that's not feasible if somebody has to go to the next level in school. But that does not mean we cannot have maybe a one-day trip somewhere, okay? So we either reduce the amount, we can delay the date. We said we'll do it in April. Why don't we push it to August? We give ourselves more time. Sometimes we give up, and we say, we will look at this next year. We don't have to look at it. So that we can accommodate within our income. We cannot plan. We can't be like government. Government has got one luxury nobody has. Can you imagine they plan, and then they say, we are going to borrow? They are going to borrow 400 billion to use in the budget. As an individual, you can't plan for that. You cannot plan for that. So we need to be able to do that. So I think now we are very clear on how we set the goals. this is how we're going to determine our hopes and our dreams. This is how we're going to have the best use of the resources that we have. And we have agreed what are we going to do. First, we write all of them down. In fact, we say take a retreat. It doesn't matter whether your retreat is sitting in the bedroom, sitting outside the compound, or going to revise the Uhuru Park. Take a retreat. Write everything down. Then divide them into short, medium, and long term. Okay. Then take the stock of the resources at hand. What am I planning for? Oh, I have my salary, but I'm also going to get a dividend from my circle. My shares will give me a dividend. So you can actually tell what are the resources you are planning for, because you can't plan if you don't know what the resources are. And once you do that, then you prioritize. You are looking at, within the short-term ones, which one takes preference over the others. We told the child if they do well in school, we'll buy them a bike. But in the meantime, we have also seen we need to buy everybody clothes. Now, which one would you do first? The child is calm and with a grade A. Now, do you want to buy them the bike so that you can appease them? Or do you want to buy everybody a Christmas gift? So we have to prioritize what is important. And when we are prioritizing, we say, what are the resources we have? What has the best impact for the family? What impacts the family the best? Because that's what we're going to do. And once we have been able to do that, then we have activities. We have things we need to do to make it happen. You said as a family, we have agreed we are going to buy a car. You can't just sit home and buy a car. There are things that you need to do. Maybe apply the loan from the circle or from the bank, go to the car yard, in fact, decide what car you're going to take. Do we bring the car? Do we buy from the yard? Do we buy from the port? All those things have to be done. You've got to think, where do we buy insurance for it? Who will be doing our service? Where do we park the car? So there's a lot of things that you need to do as you're implementing. Then you start implementing. Again, we don't want to be like government. They always say, ask them about the drought, and they say they are planning. You can't be planning all the time. You must actualize. So you must implement. You said, we are going to go to the car bazaar. So you mark out the Sunday after the Mass when you go to the car bazaar. And when you go to the car bazaar, you might want to pass a few other ads so that you're doing some shopping around there. So you start implementing your strategies and you evaluate whether they are working, because they might not work. You said you want the bank to give you a loan to buy the car. The bank manager says, sorry, no. Is that the end of the journey? No. Look for an alternative. Is it the circle now we're going to go to, or where it is? And once you've been able to achieve, something has happened, you've been able to get something, we always say, celebrate that achievement. A win is a win. No matter how big, no matter how small, a win is a win. Celebration has got many things, good things. We got a chance to say thank you to God. We got a chance to remind ourselves we are able, we can do it. If you can do one, you can do two. If you can do two, you can do three. And the other thing it does, it helps us to know that's a done deal. Hiyo tumemaliza, so that now we can go to the next thing. That's why we were prioritizing. We've been able to deal with the first one, we can deal with the second one. If you get a detour, you obviously revise what you're doing. You check at the goals and you say, okay, this is what we intended to do. This is what has happened. We need to revise them. So you cannot be very, very strict on them. If things mitigate and you need to do some revision. So I think that's where the confirming is. Now you can see you're able to confirm. You need to be able to pick out the money you're saving. Where are you going to save it? Don't keep it in your normal bank account. Don't keep it on your phone. Unless you have the discipline, you can put it on your local account. Otherwise, you're going to put it in today and tomorrow you take it out for something. And then you're going to be very, very frustrated around there.
Okay. Mr. Wahome, in your presentation, there are two questions that our listeners had asked earlier that you've actually responded to. Number one, at what point should someone revise or drop a financial goal, and how do you do that without feeling like you've failed? And then number two, how could couples or families confirm financial goals together when their priorities, incomes, and risk appetites are different?
Thank you. Let me start with the one for couples.
And
God is gracious. It is always opposites who attract.
Exactly.
And it is opposites who live in harmony. Okay? So chances are your significant other is either a spender or a saver. Is a planner or not a planner. Okay? A lifeist or they can hold on for another day.
Yes.
Now, there has to be harmony. And there are many things in marriage that you have to learn to harmonize. And that's why we said we're looking for synergy.
Yeah.
In synergy, 1 + 1 is 3. And so we need to work together, because if we are working at cross purpose, we frustrate ourselves and will not make any movement. So I think it is part of what they call communication. How we communicate. It's a communication issue.
Yeah.
It's not a money issue.
Okay.
Always somebody will have more than the other. That's not a problem. And it doesn't matter who has more than the other. Somebody will have more ideas than the other, but how do we communicate? How do we harmonize this? I think it was early this year, I said maybe this is a year where we take a few dates, but this is just a date to go and discuss our finances, and we swear that our voices will not rise.
Yeah.
So that now we can be able to look at this thing and we look at it together. Because if we are not able to work together, unfortunately it shows up. It might not show now, it will show in years to come. And you look back and you say, if we had agreed on doing that, we'll be in a better position than we are now. And I know we've discussed the journey of marriage and money,
Yeah.
When you're newly married, everything works magical. We don't even think about details. Then we get to the next phase where you are doubting everything the person is doing, and you might actually put together a committee to try and get them to come to your path. Adults will not come to your path. You must have a negotiated agreement so that we can actually be able to do it together. When do we change the goals? That's why we do review.
Yeah.
Whatever goals we have, we must set ourselves a review. Could be a monthly review, could be a quarterly review, could be a half-year review. Okay? So we change when we do the review and we see we have a need. Because, along the way, you can have more income than you had.
Yeah, exactly.
You can have a windfall that you did not have. Or you can lose income
Yeah.
that you're anticipating to have. So when things change, when we have life-changing events, we have to look at our plans and change all of them.
All right. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Wahome. Our time is up. Kindly remind us about today's class.
Thank you. And thank you, our listener. I think now we have crystallized the goals. So we have a class tonight, and we said it is between 9 p.m. It is on Zoom. We are looking at investments, and today we are looking at real estate. Even if you don't want to buy a plot, you don't want to buy land, there are enough options for you, and this is what we are going to look at. If you've had something called VUCA, then you have an idea how many options are in there. So just show your interest, 0708-150-137. When I say show your interest, I'm saying call, text, or WhatsApp. Somebody on the other side is going to respond, and they're going to give you. If you've been listening for a long time, and you've always been saying, I think I need more. Now, we're starting a new class, end of February. So start getting ready for that class, because that might be your class now, so that you're not only listening, now you engage. The whole program will be almost 40 hours, and that can tell you how much you'll be able to gain over that period. But I think for today, we want to say asante sana. We're very, very happy. There's something that seems to be troubling our nation, education planning.
Yeah.
And God giving us chance, I think we need to look at that education planning better.
Exactly.
Because you cannot understand how 300,000 children cannot transition to the next level. And largely the question you hear is money. I think we need to look for money for our children, and that's the discussion we'll have next time.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Wahome, for your time and the beautiful insights you've given us this morning. Asante sana. But most importantly, my dear listener, other than the sessions, other than the talks here, get yourself a copy of this beautiful book, Wallet Words, and you will never regret. Done by Mr. Wahome himself. You can order again via the same number, 0708 150 137. All right, drop that interest there and someone will get in touch with you. You will agree on how you will get yourself a copy of the Wallet Words, done by Mr. Wahome. 0708 150 137 is the number. Thank you so much for your time, my dear listener. Thank you for your company right from 6 a.m. I do wish you a productive Tuesday. Kwaheri.
Wahomini FM.